You're now watching Haunt Talk with your host Scott from Exploring Attractions and Rob from The Howling Hour, home for all things scary and spooky related.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Haunt Talk podcast. My name is Scott from Exploring Attractions.
And I am Rob from The Howling Hour.
And today we bring you episode 24 of your favorite horror podcast out there. all jokes aside, I just kind of wanted to start the show off where there's been a little bit of negativity as far as other podcasts go. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not. Tell me about it.
So the Ghoul Pals put out the Ghoul Pals podcast. Make sure you check them out. But something is going on where they're getting negative comments, and I just want to preference this by saying, regardless if you're a watcher, a listener, another podcast, everyone should be supporting each other.
Yes.
Yes. I feel like that's just a given, and I think that this community is a little bit too tight neck and also too big in the grand scheme of things that we don't support each other enough. So let's do our best in supporting each other as much as possible. That's just my little tidbit there.
Yeah, I know, and I mean,
There's so many haunt podcasts out there, and we all are unique in our own ways. So support each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the belief of the rising tide raises all ships. So
yeah,
and I listen to other people's podcasts. Whether we have the same style or don't, or they're different. I guess maybe I'm a little, I would say, kind of stepped back a little bit where I don't really, I support everyone. I'm just like, I listen to this person, I listen to this person. And I love anyone, you recommend a podcast, I'm going to listen to it. And if I like it, I like it. And if I don't vibe with it, maybe it, just not my style. But,
doesn't
always,
mean we're going to hate on them or anything.
Yes, always support.
Like,
exactly. Yeah. Always support.
It's like being a YouTuber. I've always, preached on the fact of, let's rise each other up. But you made a good analogy there. But, it's true. There's no room for hate and negativity in this community, or just any communities in general. So let's do our part in making sure that we're all supporting each other. I just want that to be known, because that's what Rob and I's biggest passion has been, is seeing others succeed and seeing our friends succeed. So let's just all do our part in doing that. And at the end of the day, if there's 100 podcasts, if there's 200 podcasts, who cares? Because the podcast that you're making makes you unique. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I mean,
it does.
What makes us unique is that we're two genuine friends who are just can have idiotic conversations. That's just we don't run a structured podcast.
That is true.
We're just chatting to people who are interesting to us in the haunt community, and then today we're just having a guy only podcast where it's just me and you shooting the shit about movies.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to throw that in there. Sorry, I didn't pre-warn Rob about this or anything.
No, you're good.
It literally came to my head. I was like, you know what? Let me do my part in supporting the community. But that's my little PSA there. What we're doing today is we're going to be kind of recapping the movies that we have watched. I've been wanting to do this every month. However, it's coming a little bit late. So we're doing from the beginning of January to the middle of February. Kind of just talking about the movies that we watch as far as horror movie goes.
Yeah.
And exactly what our thoughts are on them, because there are some very interesting horror movies that have already come out. But since it is a kind of me and you podcast only, I just, kind of wanted to update everyone how we've been doing this week. What's your week been like, man?
Oh, man.
2 weeks, I guess.
Just work, gym, life, and some movies in between. I had a good New Year's, and just the beginning of the year. I feel like it's gone slow, but at the same time, sped up a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to think that we're already in the middle of February.
Right.
My birthday's on Friday, so when you're watching this, the Friday the 21st. But it's weird because I don't and everyone says this, the more years that go by, the more you're like, oh, it's just a birthday. And in my opinion, yes, I like to feel special, and like obviously on the day I'm gonna be like, oh, I want to go do something and stuff like that. But leading up to it, I'm just kind of like, oh, if when it comes, it comes. You know, like I don't know, it's
See,
odd. I turned 25, and like that's still young, and yeah, I'm over here acting like I'm freaking 40, like you know.
Yeah, well, I'll be 42 this year. See, and I'm not so much like the opposite, but like when my birthday, and Robin always jokes around because I pretty much like September when like Haunt starts, like HHN, till the end of October, and like, you know, even into November. She's just like, oh, that's your like, because my birthday's in October. She's like, that's your entire like, you have like 2 months of birthday because you're constantly going to all these things. And I'm just like, yeah, I'll take that 2 months of birthday celebration. So I'm a little bit the opposite of you. But yes, as you get older, it's just like, you know,
right.
It's like, oh, it's my birthday, but I'm just like, oh, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go do that. But yes, I am 42, so thanks for reminding me, Scott. My age, and I'm proud to be in my 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. I always will, because that's me. I keep you young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I did just get back from vacation, which was a good time. That was a nice little fun weekend. It did so much, man. Did so much more than we've ever done on a Florida trip. We were there for 4 days, and we got, I mean, if you want to count the multiple Disney parks, we got 6 parks done. So
nice,
freaking crazy. One of the most.
I saw your
trips I've ever
Instagram
had. But it was
stories.
fun too. So I mean,
yeah, it looked fun. It looked fun. I vicariously lived through you because I probably won't go out to Orlando or Florida anytime soon.
Yeah.
But so I just kind of lived through you. Good times.
Huh.
Did you go away? Where
one day, man. One day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll make it happen. I'm telling you. Hopefully one day there's a media event that's like, bring 2 people and then you can come with me. But
no, I'll be right there.
Yeah, today
my bag's packed.
Bring your whole party with you, and it's just Rob. It's like they'll say you can bring your whole family, and like, no, I just want Rob.
Yeah, well, I'm the size of 2. Like, I'm the size of 2 of you, so I mean, it's kind of like big and muscular.
There you go. So we're gonna go down the line and talk about the movies that we watched. Obviously, now that we got the icebreakers out of the way. But I want to talk with, even though it's the more recent one, I feel like it's more relevant since it was just Valentine's Day, and honestly a movie that really shocked me and you, and it seems like the rest of the horror community, in Hard Eyes. Hard Eyes was phenomenal, and I want to get your take on it first and kind of break down this movie.
You know what? The more I thought about it, when I came out of the movie, obviously I told you I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was and I hesitated to use the word, but the more I thought about it, I thought it was a great slasher, and kind of like like a rom-com slasher movie, and just as I came out of it, I was thinking about, I was like, man, that movie was really good. And you know, I was like, well, what, like a score I would give it, you know, like an 8 out of 10. But honestly, and the more I thought about this movie, because I did really enjoy it, and you know, I was just kind of breaking down in my head, like, just the scenarios, the different things that happened in the movie. And I at this point, I'm like close to giving it like a 9.5, maybe even a 10 out of 10 as far as for me when it comes to like that slasher, like it's hard to say like a romantic slasher, but I mean, that's really what it is. It's like a rom-com slasher, and it really did, like, it hit for me on so many levels of how good this movie was. As far as like I looked at it and I was like, okay, like love story wise, if you took the horror element out of it, it's a really good kind of love story of just these 2 people who like kind of randomly meet, and you know, things go from there and the relationship builds, and then I looked at it like, okay, well, if this was just a slasher movie, I really enjoyed it too. Like, just the kills were really good, kind of the story of, I really do wish and this kind of leans into, maybe, I don't know if it's they could do a prequel or something. But the story of Hard Eyes, because it's already kind of this character is established already in this movie. Like this person has been around for a while. This killer has been around for a while. So I just meshing those two together. I think it's a perfect slasher movie that I really enjoyed. I just can't recommend it enough to check it out.
Yeah, and I'll say this right now because there wasn't too much given away. This will be as spoiler-free as possible, but keep in mind there will be probably some mid or like I don't know how you describe it. There may be some
light spoilers,
non-context spoilers, we could say. So just pre-warning there. We're gonna try our best, but that's how it is. But anyways, it was, you did a good job at summing it up. It was like multiple stories. Like it wasn't just a slasher film. It was also a romance film. It was also comedy. And I like how the movie didn't take itself so seriously. Yes. Like I feel like some of these comedic horror movies do. Like they take themselves too seriously, and then there's an unhealthy balance of like, okay, is this a serious horror movie or is this just like a fun like slasher movie? Hard Eyes did a good job with that in the sense of like they knew the demographic they were aiming for. All these couples are gonna come out on Valentine's Day and watch this because it's a cute Valentine's Day and it's gonna be a funny movie. So that's their demographic. That's what they're targeting, and they're also targeting the hardcore horror community fans because the kills were pretty brutal.
Yeah, they were.
It had the slasher mentality of it. So I think that they did a really good job at finding that balance and not taking themselves too seriously. I feel like that is where they thrived. And I was happy. I was thoroughly surprised. I mean, I called you right away and I told you like that was a surprising movie. It really was, because there wasn't a whole lot of marketing behind it up until this year, like the beginning of January. That's when we really saw a ton of marketing for it. And it was awesome because I didn't know what to expect. I was going into it blindly. Obviously, I knew it was a Valentine's Day killer, but I was still going into it blindly, and I was thoroughly pleased. It was a good movie. It had some really good twists. Yeah. It was hard to kind of predict who the actual killer was, and then when they revealed the killer, it was like, wow, that was unique. Yeah. So I thought it was pretty good, and I just gotta say right now, whoever you think the killer is, it's probably not. So it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think so. I'm on the Letterboxd account. So let me see what I did. I think I gave it, I want to say a 3.5. Okay. So Letterboxd is y'all can follow me if you want. It's YScoot7, but I think I'm going to change it to Exploring Attraction so it's easier to find. But you can make a list of movies that you've like. I have watched 2025 and I have watched 2024, and they're all ranked. So my number one movie out of all, like regardless of horror movies or what, was Longlegs last year. Okay. This year I have Heart Eyes at number 2 out of the 4 I watched, and it's sitting at a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I could probably up it to 4, but I also think that I kind of want to keep my rankings, like, I don't want to go crazy and saying, oh, this is a 4 out of 5 or this is a 5 out of 5. Like, that has to scream like Longlegs to me or Wicked to me or Deadpool and Wolfman. Okay. So that's kind of how I base my rankings, because it's a little bit easier when you're doing it out of 10.
Yeah, for sure. You get more, and that's why, I mean, for me, that's why it works. I feel like 5 is, like, if you're going, like, best, like, kind of out of 5, 1 to 5, for me, it's too difficult from 3 to 5, like how much, like it varies. Like it's just like if you give it a 4, it's like too close to 5. It could, just different. Yeah. For me,
and you can. The nice thing about this is you can do halves. Okay. That's what I like. I like how you can do halves on this app. I mean, we're not sponsored or anything, but I just I enjoy this app. Okay. It definitely needs some tweaks, but I do enjoy this app quite a bit. So since we're gonna talk about these other movies, right now my rankings are number 1 is Companion, for 2025. Number 2 is Hard Eyes. Number 3 is Paddington in Peru. we won't talk about that movie today. And number 4 is The Wolfman. So with that being said, we're going to talk about The Wolfman. Rob's biased of this movie, so
I am very biased.
You take it away.
You know what? And being is that, you know, we both watch a lot of movies, period, not just horror, but movies in general. And I went into this movie hearing some negative things, but you know, when I sat down and watched this movie and you know, kind of thought about it after, and I think no movie's perfect. I think there were some things that could have been improved as far as maybe even story wise. I feel like, you know, certain things were kind of predictable, but overall with Wolfman, I really enjoyed the look of the Wolfman, the different way they kind of I guess his transition into the Wolfman. You know, I like that. I like the just the main character overall, just his dealing with what's going on and kind of the mindset and his psyche of what he's going through, and certain shots and like the music, the cinematography. I really enjoyed those things about it. You know, there were a few things that I just was kind of like the family dynamic. I'm more of a fan of when I watch a movie, I want to be kind of like shown certain things as opposed to being told like, hey, this. I would like to be shown it. And I think in this movie they were telling you like, oh, this is why this is why this, and I prefer to be shown it. Like I always think like, I'm not an idiot. I'll catch on. Tell me this, you know, show me the story. I don't need a lot of exposition of why this and why that. So, but overall, I really did enjoy the Wolfman. I thought it was I think I ranked it somewhere around like 7.5 out of 10. So, you know, for me, it was enjoyable again. And then, you know, obviously Wolfman howls. And when I heard that howl, I was just like, you know, that's really cool. I liked it. It kind of gave me an old school vibe. But, I mean, what'd you think of it, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I was a little bit hard on it, but I think I'm so hard on it because it's a classic Universal monster.
Yeah, understandable.
And because there have been so many remakes of Wolfman already, it's like you're just beating a dead horse at this point. Now, I did have hope because Blumhouse was doing it, and even though Blumhouse has some stinkers, they also have some really, really strong movies. Yes. So I hoped that this would be one of them, but I just did not feel that.
Okay.
You told me before I went into it that the design of the Wolfman, you think that it may be an issue for me.
Right.
Which I don't think it was.
Okay.
I think that like I could get past that. And the reason why is because it does look like, it literally looks like a wolf man. It doesn't look like this big monster. It literally looks like a man who turned into a wolf.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're speaking on literal terms here, that's exactly what you're going to get, you know?
Right.
So, and that's how the original looked too. So any other design of it is just made up. And I mean, they're all made up, obviously.
Right.
But it's twisted in its own storyline, I should say.
Yeah.
But I mean, that wasn't the issue with me. The issue was it didn't feel like there was enough emotional connection between the family to build that storyline that they were trying to do, which was the dad betraying the family. So that is where I think it fell flat for me. On top of that, the corny POV of the scene from the wolf's point of view, I think would have been cool, but the way that they pulled it off was so freaking corny.
See, I liked it.
I did not like it. I absolutely hated it. Like, that was like, the Wolfman isn't this fantasy creature.
Right.
It's a freaking monster.
Right.
Like, come on.
So
that was some of my biggest gripes on it.
No, I just think for me, you're talking about the POV. I just thought it was different. Like, we typically kind of like, I mean, for those of you who've watched any type of even just werewolf movie, because, you know, werewolves are, you know, kind of like dogs, and we've had this vision of dogs like, and werewolves kind of seen in black and white, and which is fine, which I'm okay with. But for me, it was like they tried something different, so I was like, okay, like, cool. I can understand what you're saying. Like, you know, it just didn't work for you. For me, that was one of the highlights. Like, oh, this was cool. I wish they would have kind of done more of that, but understandable. And you know, just, you know, I'm gonna agree with you. Like, the story, I wasn't really invested with the family dynamic, because I don't think they really dug into it deep enough for me to be like to care about what was going on.
And I think that would have really like made it, because I think I have it at 2 stars. I think that would have put it over the edge a little bit. And now I'm thinking that I gave it 2 stars. I need to give Hard Eyes a 4 because they're too close together. It was just that they really tried to do that emotional connection, and it didn't. I don't know if they didn't try hard enough or they just didn't try it out. Like it didn't. That was the whole premise of the movie.
Yeah.
And I just didn't get that. So that's where it fell flat for me. Not the slow burn, not the design of the Wolfman himself. It was the fact that there wasn't that connection. And it was odd. So, and that stupid point of view. So freaking dumb. But anyway, we'll be on to the next Blumhouse movie soon. And, Blumhouse is coming out with a lot of movies. One that they actually showcased at the Super Bowl, so that was interesting that Blumhouse spent that Super Bowl money, because that's like $8 million right there.
Yeah.
But let's just hope that they put that same amount of money into this movie, because this movie that has been teased is Megan 2.0, and I just want to say the little teaser trailer that they released using Feminine On and On by Chappell Roan was the perfect music for them to put for that teaser trailer. I'm excited to see Megan back. Even though Megan wasn't like the best movie ever, it was really good. It was fun. It's one of those fun horror movies, and I'm happy to see 2.0 back. What's your thoughts on it? I'll pull up the plot. I think the plot is out, so will you share your thoughts on it?
Oh no, I for me, I enjoyed the first Megan. There were a few things where I was just kind of like, okay, well, this, and also I think the theatrical release was a PG-13, if I'm not mistaken, because I was expecting a little more gore. That was pretty much the only negative thing really for me I had with the first Megan, was that it needed, for what she was doing, I feel like it needed an R rating. But obviously I understand PG-13 gets more, it's a broader crowd to come check it out. So, there was that. But overall, I really enjoyed Megan. I liked just the story of this girl and her buddy robot, and just how Megan just was pretty much obsessed.
So it looks like Gemma is making the same mistake that she did before, because in the official plot it says 2 years after Megan's rampage, her creator Gemma resorts to resurrecting her infamous creation in order to take down Amelia, the military-grade weapon who was built by a defense contractor who stole Megan's underlying tech. So this is coming out June 27, 2025, unless anything changes, but that is the storyline of Megan 2.0. And honestly, like, it's good. It'll work.
Yeah,
it'll work. I don't see, like, how they're going to, all of a sudden, like, Megan is a good doll, but then again, Gemma is the one who controls her tech, so there's that aspect of it.
Well, there's probably some kind of malfunction, and some hardware gets damaged, and Megan's gonna go on a rampage.
This whole AI storyline that everyone's been doing for horror movies, it works to an extent. If you try to force it too much, it doesn't really work. Like for Subseverance, that was a movie with Megan Fox. She played a really good robot. Like, I don't know. It seemed like she played a good robot. That's the best way I can describe it. Like, her mannerisms and everything, and the way that she was able to act like she has no emotions was really good. And I think that was just a Netflix film that was like put on by Netflix, not some like big name company. So I'm just saying, and I kind of got sprouted away there, but there's a way to do these AI movies without them being so corny.
Yeah.
So I just hope that this isn't a new thing that's like, let's all just do AI horror movies. That's just that's like, go back to the classic slashers and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't want my dolls being artificial intelligence. I want them being possessed. So
for real, dude. Like, come on. I got a lot of like Stitch stuffed animals from like when I was a kid, and I don't want Stitch to like turn into an AI doll. You know what I mean? But we'll talk about Companion next, because Companion was one that I was very excited to see.
Yes,
I thought this had huge potential, and I think it's another one of those movies that was like, it wasn't marketed a lot, so that's why I was so excited. Like, it wasn't marketed until like 3 weeks before, so I was really excited to see it. Another AI horror movie. So, but it's my number one, and also Sophie Thatcher's in it, and Sophie Thatcher did a great job in Heretic. So I was like, she's probably going to do a great job in this movie as well. And number one, unexpected twist for sure. The twist in this and everything were like very surprising to me, and it was just good. Like, it was really good. It something that you did not expect to be good, but came out really, really good. And it'll probably stay in my top 5 all year. Like, looking at I just don't want to say that too early, because it is just February. But looking at the lineup of the movies and my taste in horror movies, that it's definitely it could stay in this top 5. I mean, obviously we have all of our other like regular movies too, like Lilo and Stitch is coming out. That may stay at number 1 for me just because I'm biased at that. But let's just say, as far as horror movies go, that may stay in the top 5 for me.
Okay. I really liked Companion. I'll say that, but for me, I had really low expectations of this movie, because I was just like, oh, this looks that kind of like, not so much cheap, but it just doesn't look like it's gonna hit the needle for me. It, kind of looks like this typical, kind of cheesy lower end horror movie. So when I went into it and I walked out, I was thoroughly surprised and very, very happy with this movie. As far as horror movies go, I think it definitely, it's going to be up there for me. I don't know if it's going to stay in top 5, but it's going to hit around maybe 6 or 7, just based off of like what you're saying, like my likes and dislikes of things.
Right, yeah.
For me, I think Hard Eyes is still above this, but barely. I like Sophie Thatcher, the way her mannerisms, the way she kind of portrayed this was she this companion.
She was literally a companion doll.
Companion doll. The way she just her movements, the way she spoke was very robotic. And the one thing just even Jack Quaid was excellent. To just kind of like, I had a feeling about him. I'm being very vague because if you haven't seen it, I don't want to give away.
He played a good evil character in a way too.
But at the same,
a spoiler in itself. But still, he was like, in his evil moments, like it kind of worked. Like, he was good at it.
Well, because it was like one of those things where it's like he didn't see what he was doing was wrong at all. Like, there was just no
That's evil in itself,
Yeah, I don't feel bad about this. I don't have. It's just like, oh, we're gonna do this, and it's just like, whoa, dude, like you're pushing the envelope here.
Yeah.
But I think Jack Quaid did a really good job. All the their names escape my mind right now, but the supporting cast, I think they all did a really good job. Some really good twists in there, like
there's
you mentioned.
The blonde guy, he was in Smile too. And I thought he was really good in Smile too. And I mean, he's very dynamic in what he can do in horror movies, and he was really good in this one as well.
And the not so much the funny thing, but the surprising thing with this is there was heart, like a lot of heart, a lot of like emotion in this movie. And I was just like, there were points where I'm like, where it made me did not cry. There was no tears were shed, just to clarify. But I was just like, oh man, I'm feeling like some kind of way for a robot, oh wow, like really, like this, and then also, I also had that other feeling where it's just like, I don't like this person. This person's a jerk. So it when a movie can get you on an emotional roller coaster with your feelings, I think that's typically a good thing. So in Companion did that for me, and I really enjoyed just beginning to end. The only issue I really have with Companion it has to do with the trailers. And the fact that, like, for the first part of this movie, they're like playing like you don't know that Sophie Thatcher's character is a robot.
Yeah.
Where in the trailers they tell you off the bat that she's a robot.
Yeah. And like,
that's really
I was thinking
issue.
that watching the movie, I was like, so when are they gonna reveal? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we all know. We're watching it.
Right.
We've seen the trailers. Yeah. We all know. That's just one of those things where it's like I think they give away too much in the trailers because that for the first, I want to say it's like 15 minutes. Like they don't really talk about her being some kind of like artificial intelligence or a robot, and then then the reveal is there. But it's like we all knew it was coming. We were just like, well, when's this gonna happen?
Yeah, and I want to say like I think that with the trailer, they really painted it as this guy who just he got a sex bot because he's lonely. And the character himself does look like just like a lonely loser dude, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just not that. That's not what the movie is. So, I mean, that's all I'll say without giving too much away, but that's just not what it is. So that's where it surprised me, and that's where I was like, okay, wow, this is a lot better storyline than what they're trying to play in the freaking trailer, you know? So, I mean, it's like it's just a basic AI storyline if they're going with what the trailer was actually saying, but it wasn't that.
Right.
And I was happy with it, to be honest. So that's why it's number one for me. I think Heart Eyes could be right there in number one. I think they're very neck and neck. But I think because there was more horror aspects in Companion, I enjoyed it a little bit more. But, you know, like I said, stuff can change. I could think a little bit different about certain movies when I watch them again. Who knows? That's why you guys should follow me on Letterboxd to keep up to date with my list. But one movie that I didn't watch that you watched to kind of wrap up our movie talk today is The Presence. I'm going to wait for this to come out on streaming just because we have other movies coming out like The Monkey literally on my birthday that I want to watch. So I'm waiting for Presence to come out on stream, but you were able to watch it in theaters. So what's your rundown of it?
You know what? I'll say this off the bat. If because this is the way they market it, it was like one of those scariest movies, around.
It's very paranormal activity. It's like what they're trying to market it as.
Yeah. It's not. Honestly, in the best way I could describe it, there are some thriller parts, kind of suspense. I would say suspenseful parts. But really, it's you're watching this it's more of a family drama in my eyes. Okay. You're watching this family drama and their life play out through the eyes, and it is 100% through the eyes of this presence, and this is just like this presence follows this family. They move into this house, and it's very like they just move in, and there's something there.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of following everyone throughout the house, and it only stays in the house. So you only see what's going on in the house, and it attaches itself to kind of, or more is drawn to the daughter. And what I did like about it is, the family drama does keep you invested in this movie because, I was thinking like, oh, it's got to be this. Like, I want to see stuff getting thrown around.
Right.
And there's a little bit of that in this movie, but for the most part, it's revolving around this family and their life, and what the mom does, what the dad does, and the daughter and the son and their lives, and just things going on. And things do happen which are spoilers, and I won't talk about them because it does make the movie even better when you watch it. But I really enjoyed this movie. Again, I won't say it's a horror movie. I'm hesitant to even say it's a supernatural thriller. I think it's just it's a drama.
I mean, spoiler alert. I'm fine with it. But is there any creature in it at all?
No creature.
Okay.
No creature.
So it's just literally you're in the eyes of the ghost.
Yeah, you're watching. If the ghost was in a house, watching everyone live their life, and the secrets that people keep, and the things that people do behind each other's back, that kind of thing. The ghost, the presence is watching all of this. So I really like enjoyed it. I think
I'll enjoy it because
the
more drama for these movies, the better.
Yeah, and the way everything's tied up, I thought was really good. I don't want to say chef's kiss, but if I could get throw some bam, it was just I was just, at the end of the movie I was just like, wow,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that was intense. That was intense. But I really enjoyed Presence. I thought it was a really good movie. But you know, I don't know if it's still in theaters, but definitely check it out when it comes to streaming.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. I think I'm really going to enjoy it. But that is kind of our recap of different movies that we have watched this year. Shorter episodes. They're episodes that I kind of want to keep up with when new trailers come out and new movies come out that we watch. And I think it's just fun too. You're kind of mix there of guests and you're mixed of like actual haunt talk, like I mean haunt, like meaning the horror events and stuff like that, and then you get these movie talk. So I find that to be a good balance, and I want to keep it going. I would say.
Yeah,
it was fun, and you guys get to hear our differences or our agreements in the movies that we watch. So you get two different perspectives from it as well.
Yeah.
So. But anything else, Rob?
No, I think I mean, in my opinion, I think January has been really good when it comes to movies and even you know we have our disagreements with Wolfman, but I think overall I thought it was
good. It's a good mix.
Pretty good. Yeah, a good mix of stuff going on.
And lots more to come. Black Phone Part 2. You have Sinners coming out. You have a lot of movies coming out. Obviously, The Monkeys. So I can't wait to talk about it more. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Haunt Talk, because we do try our best to post news about horror stuff on there, even if it's on our story, as well as mini reviews on there as well, and different clips from the episodes. Follow us on Spotify if you want to listen to the podcast. Subscribe to both of our channels, Exploring Attractions and The Howling Hour on YouTube. But for today, my name is Scott.
And I am Rob.
And, you know, spread positivity, not hate. We've been the Haunt Talk Podcast, episode 24. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.